Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Alien Review Marathon. That's right. So the last film that I reviewed earlier today, because having two famous aliens from two big franchises from 20th Century Fox coming together, going into combat, and the results of the first one, well, because it was unfortunately a flop. But what I've had to say about it, and for those of you that did not check it out yet, go watch it before this one, I thought it was not bad, okay, and how I rate it, and so on, so... you got and heard what I said reviewing the first installment. Well, about, 3 years after the first one, we would get a sequel and a follow-up to the first Versus movie. You know, two aliens going at each other and such, and sadly, the results of the follow-up, disappointing as well, unfortunately. But for me, I thought this was pretty good. I actually liked where this film was, what it was doing, where it was going, the plot and such, and what goes on planet Earth. So that's right, guys. I am reviewing the sequel/follow-up to Alien vs. Predator from 2007, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Yes, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Yeah, it's unfortunate, like its predecessor, the first one, this too becoming a garbage of a movie and such. Again, I liked where this movie was going. The fact that, well, because the Predators, and most notably the Xenomorphs, they come back to Earth, and all hell breaks loose in this, harmless town, and what would happen to this town? Like an apocalypse for this town. It's, the stuff that was going on, I thought it was really good. And you know what? Those things that happened in this movie could have worked if the story had been a little better and so on, but sadly, the results of it, and if any of you have seen this, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, I understand it's not the best. Don't get me wrong, I do when I review these kind of movies, but at the same time, we're all allowed to voice our opinions and how we feel on certain movies. So for me, because, again, I like it. I think the cast of human characters were not bad. As long as you can do them good in certain movies like this. Unfortunate because not all of them survive. That's what you would expect when it comes to anything Alien and Predator, it didn't disappoint with, say, the slashing and the killing, as you would most of the time expect in Alien, and also the Predator films, having the Xenomorphs and the Predators, the aliens, the two alien species killing their victims, and the fact, what was teased and shown at the very end of the first one, well, that, it being the main antagonist of this film, this one creature that's a mixture of a xenomorph and a predator. Yeah, because, with the first installment, it left off, on a cliffhanger and a tease for a possibility of a sequel, and thus we got it, and, it was really cool to see that on screen. But, the thing is, we don't really, see him, like full brightness or anything like that. He's kind of sometimes hidden in the dark, and he's just a little bit in the darkness. You can still see him, but but overall, it was still cool to see this full-grown half alien, half predator come to life. And the fact that, well, because the main predator of this film, taking on the Xenomorphs, getting rid of evidence and so on, cleaning up the town, and, But anyways, so, as always, read the description / the story. Residents of Gunnison, Colorado. I think I'm saying that right. Gunnison, and that's the name of the town, Gunnison, Colorado. are caught up in the crossfire when two deadly extraterrestrial species bring their long-standing conflict to Earth. On the one side, nearly indestructible aliens. On the other, a lone predator whose mission is to wipe out all traces of the alien infestation from Earth, no matter who gets in the way. Okay, so getting into the film itself, because, well, we pick up where we literally last left off in the first one, where, yeah, a Predator ship orbiting and leaving Earth, the dead body of the Predator that, formed an alliance with Alexa Woods, the body being retrieved and laid down, and, well, because a facehugger had lunged on the Predator's face, and right at the end of the first movie, well, that's when the xenomorph burst out of the chest, and and thus we see the half xenomorph, half Predator, and of course, it's obvious that all hell is gonna break loose on the Predator ship. And, sure enough, because it doesn't take that long for the half xenomorph, half Predator to grow full size and attack the other Predators on the ship, and causing the Predator ship to go back to Earth and crash land. And the first two characters that we see are Buddy and Sam, their father and son, and they're deer hunting. Buddy being played by Kurt Max Runt, if I'm saying the last name right. You know me sometimes. And Sam, the son. Yeah, Buddy the father and Sam the son. Sam is the son. Sam being played by Liam James, a young Liam James. And they do see that the Predator ship had crashed, and it's so obvious what would come next for them. And sure enough, yeah, because facehuggers, they escape the Predator ship. I think, one or two Predators have survived, and, one of those Predators actually recorded, footage and such from its mask and camera part of the mask, seeing the half xenomorph, half Predator, attacking and sending out a distress call, basically, to, send another Predator to help out on what just happened. And yeah, as I said, facehuggers, which, by the way, the Predators, I think this probably was shown in the first one, because, the Predators, they retrieved a couple of facehuggers, and we see the facehuggers in these tanks, but, well, because the ship had crashed, they escaped. And the facehuggers lunging and attaching themselves on Buddy and Sam, unfortunately. Even when, one of the xenomorphs attacked Buddy, but shot it, and, well, the acid spilled from the xenomorph, and also, from the facehuggers, getting on his arm, and it burns, it melts and rips his arm off completely. And, yeah, because these two guys not lasting that long, and especially, when the facehuggers lunged at them. But, coming to the town, Gunnison, Colorado, the main town of this movie, and the rest of our cast of characters. We have Sheriff Morals, if I'm getting that name right, being played by John Ortiz. There's a Z, yeah. I think I've seen John Ortiz before. Some of them, yeah, I think I have seen before. There's also Ricky, being played by Johnny Lewis. Ricky, I think, came back from, I want to say, the army or prison? I don't know, because the sheriff lending him a ride, and Ricky finding himself a job at a pizza place, and one address that the pizza he's gonna deliver, where it's supposed to go, he recognizes that address, and he thinks it's a bad idea to do it, but he has a job, of course, and he's got to do it. He's got to make that delivery. And why he didn't want to go to that address, well, it's obvious when we get up to that, because, we see a lovely blonde girl by the name of Jessie. I think I'm getting that right, because there's no I. Yeah, Jessie, I think. Jess, Maybe, I sometimes forget. Yeah, okay, so her being played by Kristen Hager. Yeah. I believe as though, maybe, yeah, the movie does establish, but I don't think in full detail that, I think, yeah, they used to be in a relationship or something like that. And, well, him making the delivery, they have a little chat, both her and him, and right when he is making his way back to the car, he is then pounded by her boyfriend, Dale, being played by David Patrick, however you say his last name. Again, you know me sometimes. Yeah, so he plays sometimes the typical dickhead boyfriend, those kind of boyfriends in movies and shows. Yeah, and just like beating the crap out of Ricky, and even like stealing his keys, and to make things worse, throwing them down the sewer. And yeah, poor Ricky, because why did he deserve that? Just And for the other characters, well, there is a little girl by the name of Molly, being played by young Ariel Gade. I think I'm saying that right. And yeah, her mother, Kelly, who just came back from the army, I assume, yeah, being played by Rico Allsworth, if I'm getting her full name right. So she came back and reunited and, back at home with her husband and daughter. And, the husband, I think it was Mark, I want to say. It looks like it, yeah. Mark being played by Matt Ward. Okay, and there's Dallas, Ricky's brother, older brother, I should say. Yeah, because, I think it's obvious he's the older brother, Dallas, and Ricky being the young brother. Dallas being played by Stephen Pasquale. I think I'm saying that right. We do see, later in the day, after what happened to poor Ricky, he's paid a visit by his brother, and it's nice to see because, his Dallas looking after his little brother, and, he's wondering, what's up with his face, because, after getting beaten, Ricky doesn't really want to talk about it, but Dallas, he's insisting on him telling him, and he gives him all the information, and that he lost his keys, and, yeah, so Dallas helping Ricky to retrieve his keys from the sewer, but also, what's going on back in the woods, because, well, a couple of, deputies, they're out in the woods, and, well, with what happens to poor Buddy and Sam, because they do wake up at one point, and they, because it doesn't take too long for, both of them to have xenomorphs burst out of their chests, and thus they're done for. And by the way, because the remaining predators of the crashed Predator ship, the one, that recorded the footage and such and sending out a distress beacon, managed to get it out there back on the home world of the Predators, and one Predator who received it and is the main, Predator of this movie that comes in and cleans all the, alien stuff and such with the xenomorphs. And fun fact, the main Predator of this movie is actually the filmmakers. They called him Wolf, which, because the Predator being named Wolf after Mr. Wolf in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Because if you've seen Pulp Fiction, as have I, Wolf is such a great character, because he is quite an expert, and, when being called in, and, well, he helps out Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta, because cleaning up all evidence because of the blood and stuff like that. Again, if any of you have seen Pulp Fiction and know the character of Wolf, so makes sense and very fitting and clever of them to name the Predator in this movie Wolf. So, nickname the Predator Wolf in this movie. So again, the main Predator receiving the footage and information on what's going on, and thus making his destination to Earth. Also, because, the police and the deputies, and along with Buddy's wife and Sam's mother, Darcy being played by Chella Horsdal, if I'm getting her full name right, because joining with the policemen, looking out in the woods to find Buddy and Sam, No trace of them for tonight, but they'll try again the next day. But one of the deputies, there's Deputy Ray and Deputy Joe. Deputy Joe being played by James Chutter, I think I'm saying that right. Also, a couple of other deputies that we don't know their names. They're just credited as deputies. The two deputies, just called deputies, they were played by Phil Bueller, if I'm getting that right, and Kevin Holland. Sounds about right. Okay. The main deputy that stays in the woods some more, Deputy Ray. Deputy Ray being played by Chris William Martin, yeah. He stays in there for a little while, and, well, sure enough, because, he meets his demise, unfortunately. One of the xenomorphs that, by this point, there's been a couple of, xenomorphs that have hatched, well, because of, Buddy and Sam, and, well, just attacking poor Deputy Ray. And thankfully, yeah, the Predator did come in and killed that one xenomorph, but also, because did something to Deputy Ray, I want to say. Or, actually, no, because that was the half xenomorph, half Predator that did something to poor Deputy Ray, and the next time that Deputy Ray would be discovered. And I think, yeah, because Deputy Ray is in a relationship with someone that works at a cafe, I want to say. Carrie being played by Gina Holden. And some of these characters, they know one another. Because Carrie, she knows Darcy and Deputy Ray. Again, I assume, and I don't think the movie establishes, because I assume as though that Deputy Ray and Carrie, they were in a relationship together. And when at one point, because they're like, you know, because they haven't heard from Deputy Ray, and we see the sheriff and Dallas, because, the sheriff knowing about Dallas and Ricky, of course, and a lot of, like, moments between Dallas and the sheriff, and Dallas helping out the sheriff at times in this movie, because, well, when they talk about Ray, because Carrie, she hadn't heard from Ray, and the sheriff believes that maybe, you know, he's still out there, or just something, like maybe he's okay. But Carrie, she doesn't think so, because she tells the sheriff that he always calls her. Yeah, but this time, yeah, there's something not right. So thus, they head back to the woods, trying to find Ray, and by this point, like, they never found poor Buddy and Sam, and poor Darcy, because, you know, the loss of her husband and son, two important things to her. And even when, like, she was a little earlier handing out flyers, yeah. But by the time she was handing out those flyers, they were gone, because, yeah, so the Predator, did finally show up, and it's really cool, because how he cleans the evidence and so on, using this, like, really cool glowing blue liquid. I don't know, like, did he... I want to say, like, maybe he got that sample or something from the xenomorph. I don't know. Or maybe it's just all Predator, like, comes from them. Yeah, just dripping it, like, pouring it out, and basically, by pouring it, it basically wipes out the evidence and the carcasses. Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. So the Predator, it's the Predator's mission to find all the xenomorphs and to make sure they're wiped out. And even if any human gets in the Predator's way, well, unfortunately, even though the Predator is doing the right thing, killing and wiping out the xenomorphs, he still kills some of the humans, so he doesn't care. So, knowing the Predator, alien species. And, okay, so then at one point, coming back to Ricky, because, at one point, Jess pays a visit to Ricky. Yeah, he was gonna go, go to work at the pizza shop the next day, yeah. And Jess is inviting Ricky over to the when it's closed, and they can go swimming. And she also mentions that she broke up with Dale. In her way, she fired him. Yeah, she fired Dale, and that's her way of, like, breaking up and such. So, yeah. So, everything should be good now, especially for Ricky, and maybe by this point they can get together. Well, yeah, until what happens very later on in the film, for both of them. Okay, and coming back to the little girl Molly, because again, her mother came back from the U.S. military, army, etc., and because something going on with Molly and acting a bit suspicious or something, and well, because her mother came back. Even the father can sense it, that, you know, Molly's afraid to admit that she missed her mommy. Yeah. Also, her mother, yeah, Kelly, gave Molly a surprise gift and such. Night vision goggles, binoculars, yeah, that kind of thing. And, yeah, just her being fascinated with it, and moments with her and her parents, yeah, they're pretty good. And because afraid to admit that, to tell her mommy that she missed her, even when she wanted daddy to read her story and so on, yeah. Anyways, yeah, coming back to Ricky and Jess, because, well, them arriving at, you know, at the school, and how they get in, and because, well, at the time of night, it's, of course, by now closed, well, she put tape on the lock. Very clever of her. Sneaky. So they get in, and, well, they are about to swim, and I think, yeah, because she, like, you know, she wants to date Ricky, even because, like, the swimsuit that she brought, nothing really, because it's just, like, her bra and undies, and, like, she then starts flirting with him, and, like, they just about start making out. But sure enough, a vehicle shows up, and it's Dale. It's like, okay, they broke up. Dude, what is your deal? Because, like, well, because he's not quite through, and how enraged he is, and just taking it out on Ricky. But Ricky was kind of quick enough to, like, push him and Ricky's two boys, like, out in the pool and so on. But even when that was about to happen, this brawl in the pool, well, all hell starts to break loose by, well, when some of the xenomorphs are nearby, like, power location, you know, power plant or whatever, because where the electronics are, electricity, and the Predator is still going after them. Well, because of that, and, like, you know, killing the xenomorphs, even the one xenomorph killed a construction worker guy. Well, with that, it caused the power to go out entirely, the whole town. And, yeah, because that's when then the xenomorphs, they start getting into town, and the Predator, well, having that cloaking technology, keeping himself invisible, and while he's trying to hunt down the aliens. Also, to mention some of the other characters, there was Tim, being played by Sam Trammell. I think this is him, yeah. The father. Yeah, so, yeah, it's him. So, Trim being played by Sam Trammell, and the other characters, I had to mention them, because the Predator, the body performance of the Predator in this was Ian White. Yeah, I think I got that right. There's also Curtis, being played by Mishash Peters, and there's, yeah, I mentioned Matt Ward. There's Nick, being played by Michael Shushanek, if I'm saying that right. And there's Drew, being played by David Hornsby. And further down, because there's Dr. Lennon, being played by Tim Henry. Carl, being played by Tom Macbeth. Yeah. Nathan, being played by Ty Olson. And Anthony Harrison, he plays Richie. Homeless Harry, being played by Lloyd Berry. Nurse Helen, being played by Rekha Sharma. Yeah. And Tina, being played by Catherine Lau Hagquist, if I'm saying that right. And there's also Pregnant Sue. That's literally how she's credited. Pregnant Sue, being played by Victoria Bidwell. Yeah, I think I got that right. Lieutenant Wood, being played by Dallas Blake. Mr. Thomas, being played by Tim Perez. And Earl, being played by Rainbow Sun Franks. And Scotty, being played by Juan Redenier. If I'm getting that right. But, yeah. And a bunch of others. And, well, two important ones that don't have that much in this movie, but still kind of have an important part to this, but I'll mention them in just a little bit, because, yeah, again, the power going out, and sure enough, the xenomorphs starting to kill the humans, like, yeah, back at the school and in the pool, well, the little brawl that was about to happen, it's interrupted when one xenomorph is swimming underwater, and it gets one of them, and then them trying to get out of the school. They go for the window, but another one of Dale's boys gets attacked. So that's the end of Dale's, two guys. So then, because they make their escape, and, because for, say, the sheriff and for Darcy, because... yeah, some of them because they get together, but also back at, the house of Molly and her parents, because at one point Molly, looking, still fascinated with those night vision goggles, she at one point looks out in the window to see anything, and sure enough, she sees a xenomorph. She screams, they come in, and she says to them, that she saw a monster, and of course, she's not lying, and sure enough, the xenomorph approaching their house and sadly goes for the dad, so that's unfortunate. So, and thankfully, Kelly and Molly, they get out of there as fast as they can, and so and to speed things up, because all of the characters that so far survive, Dallas, Ricky, Dale, and also the sheriff, Darcy, they all survive, but also, back at the cafe, it's unfortunate because, Carrie, she meets her demise when, she was, I think, she was about to leave because she was finished with work at the cafe, and, one of the chefs, the main chef gets killed by the xenomorph. Then her coming in, she can see what's going on, and all the other xenomorphs, they surround her, and the leader, the half xenomorph, half predator, he'll take it from here, and thus, sadly, killing Carrie. Yeah, Carrie sadly meets her demise, unfortunate. And even Darcy, because at one point, a little bit later, Darcy, she was gonna hang out with Carrie for the rest of the night, and her showing up to the cafe to see, and, she could see that, Carrie has been killed in her stomach. Jeez. And how she describes it. And so, she meets up with the sheriff and Dallas, and along with, of course, Ricky, Jess, and Dale. So they all come together, and they at one point hide in this, gun shop, and the two guys running the gun shop, obviously they were still there and hiding. But then at one point, Molly and Kelly, they make it there, and now, because they're now sticking with our surviving characters. Still to speed things up, because, it's sad what happens to this town, which, from the very beginning, looked like a simple, harmless town. And what had to come for those poor residents? It's unfortunate. And in those kind of movies, I could think of, say, this kind of counts. One of the top episode gems of the original Twilight Zone, the Twilight Zone, the monsters are due on Maple Street. That was a very happy, harmless neighborhood, but what happens to them? What comes to them? And we find out at the very end, the twist ending reveal, aliens were messing with them, turning the power on and off and making those neighbors just go insane and turn against at one another. But in this Alien vs. Predator Requiem, nothing like what happens to the people in Monsters Are Due in Maple Street. Nobody turns against one another, but, just all hell breaking loose, on what's happening to them, and them struggling to survive with what's going on. I think you get my point, the xenomorphs coming up to the, the gun shop, and, because Dallas got attacked at one point, but, he's all right. He unties himself because he got hung upside down from his feet, and, he shot the gun. He had Kelly hand him the gun, shooting the rope. He gets down and shooting the xenomorphs, but thankfully, the Predator showing up, and, this is the first time that they see the Predator. And, because the Predator early on killing, one or two humans, and, those two guys running the gun shop, they meet their demise from the Predator. The Predator literally shoots their heads off, blasting them. Jeez. And, unfortunately for Dale, even Dallas made a good point about Dale, pointing it directly to him. how he talks, acting stupid and so on. However Dallas said it, made a good point and said it to his face. Yeah. And Dale, well, I think, yeah, because at one point he tries to take on the Xenomorphs, but sadly, sure enough, should have seen it coming, he meets his demise. So that's the end of poor Dale. Well, you had what was coming to you, because no offense, how dumb you were. Alright, but continuing and speeding things up, because, yeah, at the hospital, well, because, disaster soon strikes at the hospital. And, there are some women at the hospital expecting babies, and because the power had been out, well, emergency power, generated power, that whole thing that, normally hospitals would have. Yeah, because, sure enough, the Xenomorphs, they soon as though, they arrive at the hospital, and they invade and kind of take over. Yeah, just, man, and what the leader, the half xenomorph, half predator, what it does, well, it killed one of the nurses, then apparently it just, impregnated one of the pregnant women or something? That's just weird. And, I think it's obvious and what it was doing, so, well, because with all of our characters coming together, and they, because, they were trying to get in touch with the National Guard, and I think, the military or something. And, well, yeah, we finally see Colonel Stevens, whom we see a few times, and he's receiving radio communications from the sheriff, because after a couple of soldiers came in, and they didn't stand a chance by the Xenomorphs, yeah, because they got killed. The sheriff talking, into one of the radios, and we see Colonel Stevens, and Colonel Stevens being played by Robert Joy. I've seen Robert Joy before. Yeah, I know, I've seen him before in some films. So yeah, he plays Colonel Stevens, and, well, because Colonel Stevens acting a bit suspicious, but we do see him when the camera pans from him to one of those screens, because he says, "What are you?" And he sees an image of the Xenomorph, footage of the Xenomorph that obviously came from those soldiers. Yeah, so he now sees, the Xenomorphs, and, well, yeah. So, our main surviving characters, they take a tank, but then at one point, they have a little, argument or something on what they should do. They should either go to one location in the town, which is Gilliam's Circle. Yeah, because that's where they can go, and hopefully they can be rescued and such. But Kelly mentions this, and, well, because even Dallas being in on this and some of the others, that they can get to the hospital, and there's a chopper on top of the building. They can use that. So then, a couple of other residents of Gilliam, they show up, and some of them split up. One guy goes on the tank, but Darcy and the sheriff, they join the others, going to the Gilliam Circle. And as for the others, well, sticking with Kelly, from, of course, her daughter, Dallas, Jess, Ricky, and the one bearded guy that joined them, well, they're going to the hospital and going to the chopper. And when they get to the hospital, well, because they can already see that something's not quite right with the hospital. By this point, everybody in the hospital has either been killed, some have survived, being used as hosts, and, yeah. So, them going through the hospital and making their way upstairs, yeah, just... things unfortunately get out of hand, and when the Xenomorphs pop up, and, well, the Predator did show up, of course, and the Predator taking on the Xenomorphs. And when the Predator came face-to-face with the half-Xenomorph, half-Predator, there has to be a specific name to it, because I keep calling it half-Xenomorph, half-Predator. But I guess it doesn't matter. But anyways, so when the Predator comes face-to-face with the main antagonist, the half-Xenomorph, half-Predator, well... a little fight between one another and such, and, well, because again, when our main surviving human characters going through the stairs, and still, some Xenomorphs coming at them, shooting them with guns. At one point, Jess, she screamed and she just scattered, and of course they followed her. And, well, with the Predator and the half-Xenomorph, half-Predator going at it, and, well, the other Xenomorphs going after the Predator, the Predator taking down the Xenomorphs, and with the weapons he has, and at one point, he uses, these, sharp frisbees, those kind of things, with blades, sharp blades, throwing at them to kill the Xenomorphs. And when the surviving human characters, they start to show up, and Jess being the first one, well, she got in the way, and those sharp, blades, they actually, they go straight at her, and they kill her. Jess is killed. And of course, you can imagine Ricky, and well, when he stares at the Predator and half Xenomorph, half Predator, well, because he goes in a bit of a rage and starts shooting them. He starts shooting them as, revenge and such. But then when they got down an elevator shaft and still Ricky was shooting down, well, yeah, no luck trying to kill them. Well, one Xenomorph pops up and wounds, almost kills Ricky instantly. Didn't make it through the front chest, but just like something around here, right here. That's where the Xenomorph got him. And thankfully, in the end, Ricky did survive. I'll go ahead and say that. So now it's just down to Kelly, Molly, Dallas, and Ricky. Yeah, so only 4 of them left in the hospital, and their goal to get up top to the chopper. And to speed things up, yeah, because they made it to the rooftop, and, well, even at one point, Dallas, he told them to proceed on to the chopper, even saying a famous line from Dutch, "Get to the chopper." He said it! Haha, he said it! By the way, fun fact, Danny Glover, yeah, because, who was in the Predator films, yeah, he was considered to reprise the role, and his character would now be retired in the events of this movie, but that ultimately did not happen. But why have him? I mean, because what sense would that make? And again, as I stated when I reviewed the first Alien vs. Predator film, that and this, they're their own thing, their own universe, and so on. Because no way could they be connected to either franchise, both. It's impossible. So again, I just see it as the 2 Alien vs. Predator films. I just see them being their own thing, their own universe, their own canon, just, yeah. Okay, so again, Dallas, at one point sacrificing himself, and as for the residents, and with the sheriff and Darcy, because joining up with the others, and, well, they have guns, and they're taking down any approaching Xenomorph. But back at the hospital, yeah, Dallas, he did get his hands on one device, one weapon from the Predator, and, well, he has some success and luck killing the Xenomorphs, even, one that's up top of him and waiting for the gun to be fully loaded again, and, die, you son of a bitch, and, shooting the alien, however he said it. I think that's about right, yeah. But thankfully, he did get out of there, meeting up with them, getting in the chopper, still shooting down any approaching Xenomorph that gets to the chopper, yeah. And then, the Predator, then coming face-to-face with the half-Xenomorph, half-Predator, and this is where the big fight happens. So yeah, because them fighting one another on top of the rooftop of the hospital, and the Predator using with how many weapons he can use, but yeah, he runs out, and this is the moment where he takes off his mask, and going at it with the half-alien, half-Predator, yeah, just fighting each other with their hands and no weapons, that kind of thing. So yeah, and, well, up to the end of the fight, the Predator successfully, because ripping out the jaw/tongue of the half Xenomorph, half Predator, and, stabbing it right through the chin, but the half Xenomorph, half Predator killing the Predator, stabbing it through, with its tail, through the chest. And by the way, because, still, the sheriff trying to get into contact with the colonel, well, yeah, 1 or 2 more times, and the colonel at one point saying, "God help us all," and, well, even when our surviving human characters, they made it into the chopper, they flew away, as far away as they could from the town and so on, well, we see one jet showing up, and, well, the jet dropping a nuclear missile and so on, and, yeah, just risking and just letting the residents, from the sheriff and Darcy, everybody else that's still in the town, them being killed from the blast. And with them, well, that of course goes for the aliens, the xenomorphs, and the one predator. So yeah, all of them in that town, they meet their demise, sadly. That goes for the humans. Yeah. And kind of the predator, but overall, because still, the predator, any human that gets by him, yeah, he'll kill them. So, and by the way, I can't forget to mention this, because a couple of times where we're down in the sewers, and well, Dallas and Ricky, they successfully retrieved the keys, and they, like, saw a few glimpses of what was down there, and that, of course, being the xenomorphs. And there were a few homeless people that were living in the sewers, and one of them having a dog. Well, and obviously, all of them, they met their demise. So, just wanted to throw that out, and yeah, couldn't forget to mention that. And the surviving residents of Gilliam, Colorado, Kelly, Molly, Ricky, and Dallas, well, they're all that's left. The helicopter gets hit by the blast wave of the nuclear explosion, and, well, the helicopter technically crashed, but thankfully all of them survived. But then they're surrounded by the soldiers, they have them gun pointed. But why? They survived, they're all right, they didn't do anything wrong. Well, I mean, probably mainly because, well, they can see that Dallas has an alien gun, and yeah. But of course, they turn out to be all right, yeah. And even Molly asking her mommy if the monsters are gone. And of course she tells her daughter and assures her that yes, they're all gone. And the last part of the movie, we see Colonel Stevens, yeah, there he is, had to pull it up. Colonel Stevens, like, he meets with Mrs. Yutani, if I'm saying that right, and she was played by Franciscus Yip, if I'm getting her full name right. Yeah, and let me see, because as always have it, yeah, so I was right, yeah. Mrs. Y, just call her by Mrs. Y, and that's how it's credited in the IMDb page of this movie. Yeah, also, yeah, to mention the homeless people, like, homeless guy being played by John Wardlow, and homeless lady being played by Nesta Champman, if I'm saying that right, yeah. And also additional Predators, like the additional body performances of the Predators, Ian Fewer and Bobby Slim Jones, yeah. So they were the additional Predator body performers. So the Predator gun that they got their hands on, and with Colonel Stevens, showing it to Mrs. Y, and, well, you know, this cannot be revealed, and, you know, humans can't have this kind of technology, and, you know, what Mrs. Y says to Colonel Stevens, yeah. And, well, by closing the lid, boom, that's how the movie ends. Interesting way to end the film. And, yeah, because, you know, I don't know, because the way the movie ends, like, maybe, like, if it was to end off, like, the possibility of another movie, but that ultimately did not happen. And also, and the directors of Alien vs. Predator, the Strauss brothers, if I'm saying that right, Greg and Colin, yeah, both of them being brothers. So, yeah, they directed this movie. Yeah, but overall, because how the movie ends, not bad, and even, and again, if it was giving that feel and vibe, like, ending off and the possibility of another film, which, again, ultimately did not happen, but an okay ending for this movie. Alien vs. Predator, Requiem. Yeah, again, it's a shame how this turned out, and the god-awful results, like, you know, and how people, you know, they just bashed on it, and geez, because the Rotten Tomatoes score that I'm looking at, 12%. God. Oh, man, because to Rotten Tomatoes, that's bad. Like, they think this movie's that bad. But, you know, thankfully, because from what I saw and on its IMDb page, those overviews or, you know, reviewers and such, there were a few positive ones, and one said that, you know, this being better than the first. I'd have to agree, because no hard feelings on the first one, but this one, like I said, I liked where this was going. And with the xenomorphs and the Predator arriving on Earth, and this harmless town, all hell breaks loose on this town, this apocalypse or whatever, and what happened at the very end, it gets destroyed, wiped away from existence and such, you know, because, God. yeah, just overall, Alien versus Predator Requiem, it's not the best. The story, it's okay. The characters, I thought were not bad. And with the xenomorphs and the predators going at it, and, well, having the half xenomorph, half predator, that's freaking awesome. How awesome was that? Don't you think that was pretty cool? And what was shown at the end of the first one, and how it would be the main focus, of course, in the next installment, really cool. Really cool. And, of course, the slashing and killing from the predator, the alien, didn't disappoint, of course. And the fights between them, really cool as well. The music and score, some funny moments and emotional moments, yeah, they were pretty good too, not bad. Yeah, just overall, Alien versus Predator Requiem, it is what it is, sadly, not the best, but, again, there are those like me that thought this was okay, yeah. And I'm giving Alien vs. Predator Requiem, yeah, why not? I'm giving it 6 out of 10 stars. Yes, 6 out of 10 stars for Alien vs. Predator Requiem. And what about you guys? What did you think of Alien vs. Predator Requiem itself? Do you think that it was okay for some of you? How you felt on this? Was there anything that you thought was pretty good? And like with the intenseful stuff and with the slashing and the killing, and with the half xenomorph, half predator. Yeah, just overall, what did you think of the film itself? And with what I've had to say, my review, and yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Alien vs. Predator Requiem. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And of course, continuing on with the Alien review marathon, well, there's only 2 more left. 2 more Alien films left for me to review. Yeah, because, well, after the poor results of Alien vs. Predator Requiem, both franchises that came together, well, obviously, both of them, they were laid to rest, but thankfully for Predator, it would come back, and as for Alien, well, the father of the Alien franchise, Sir Ridley Scott, would come back, and come back in the director's chair with another installment that would actually take place years before the first 2 Alien films. And this is something he wanted to do for quite a while, and thus, his dream wish came true when he finally did Prometheus. Stay tuned for that later this week. Take care, and peace out.